And joining us now with more on the security situation in Israel is CEO and founder of the Israel Defense and Security Forum, Brigadier General in the Reserves, Amir Avivi. Thank you for joining us.
Pleasure.
So let's start by addressing the issue of the IDF's military preparedness. I mean, in recent weeks, we've heard of the reservist protests, hundreds or thousands saying they will refuse to show up for duty. And now that the first part of the reform is passed, are they implementing their threats? And how is this affecting, or how will it affect the IDF?
Well, to my understanding, and I talk almost every day with the IDF, the IDF is in full readiness at the moment. These issues, we don't see them in the ground forces, not in the Navy, hardly in the intelligence. There is a specific problem with some of the Air Force guys. Most of them are old and not necessarily the pilots. I haven't heard even of one pilot that is not arriving and doing what it needs to do. But definitely the overall atmosphere and the politicizing the army is really bad. It's devastating. It's also normalizing the idea of insubordination in parts of the Israeli society, and it might affect also the young generation. So there is definitely a lot to do, and I think that the Chief of Staff needs to be much more clear on the fact that not coming to service, not volunteering or not arriving is something that is completely against our basic values as Zionists and also as military guys.
Mm-hmm. And you know, the United States also seems worried about Israel's military capabilities. Both the U.S. Secretary of Defense speaking with Defense Minister Gallant, and the CENTCOM head is now visiting in Israel. Has the reform affected at all the U.S.-Israel relations in terms of the security collaboration?
I don't think it has affected at all. I think that the collaboration is very, very strong. Israel is working very closely with Central Command. We understand that our main challenge is Iran and its proxies. And we are working together to really see how we can meet these challenges. We see what is going on the Lebanese border. We understand that overall, and not because of the judicial reform, the overall situation is that the possibility of an escalation, maybe even a multi-front war, has grown in the last year, and probably will go also as we look to the future, and maybe the need of Israel to retaliate against the Iranian nuclear plan that is moving forward. So we need a strong army. We need to build our deterrence, and I can say that when we have reservists saying they are not going to serve, this hurts dramatically Israel's national security and deterrence towards our enemies.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, now also, as long with what you're saying, for weeks, if not months, Prime Minister Netanyahu and also Defense Minister Yoav Gallant have been saying that the internal strife in Israel is viewed as weakness by its enemies. And now we actually have proof that this is, in fact, the case. Hezbollah and Hamas meeting to discuss potential action. What do you make of this?
So Iran and its proxies have been assessing for a long time the situation. The buildup of force Iran has done for many, many years reached a point that the Iranians are contemplating a possible attack from their side. And they are all the time looking at what's going on in Israel, how ready we are, how strong we are. And when they think that we are weak, this might encourage them to really enable Hezbollah and Hamas to attack Israel. And this is a huge danger. I'm really surprised that Israelis, some of them, don't understand the repercussions of what they're doing. They might bring upon all of us war, upon themselves and upon their children. And I think we all have to be responsible and understand that the big challenges of Israel is not judicial reform, it's the enemies around us and also inside us, inside the Palestinian arena, Hamas. And we have many challenges we need to meet. So we really need to unite and together meet these challenges.
I mean, you speak of these challenges as though they could be imminent. I mean, are we headed towards another escalation in the near future, do you think?
Well, I think that we have many things that are affecting the situation. The Russian-Iranian front that we are seeing in the last year with Iran getting much closer to Russia, but also Chinese involvement and the economical backup to the Iranian economy. We see America less dominant and less present in the Middle East. We see what's going on inside Israel. All of this together are things that are hurting our national security and might create a deterioration. But on the other side, you know, the government gave the army the biggest budget ever. The army got everything they wanted. They are building up the force. We had a very big drill to enhance the army's readiness for a possible multi-front war. And I think that my message would be to our enemies, don't test us, because the army is much, much stronger than what they think.
Absolutely. All right, Brigadier General in the Reserves, Amir Avivi, thank you for your time and your analysis today.
Thank you very much.